Today, we discuss Summer Slide. We talk about all the opportunities for growth that can happen over the summer, and we both share our own summer experiences. We also chat about why it is really important for most learners to continue educational therapy over the summer. And of course, we share some tips on how to easily incorporate maintenance of skills in your summer activities to avoid a summer slide. If you are interested in working with us, we would be honored to have a conversation with you. You can do that by signing up on either one of our websites. Both our websites are in the show notes to this episode. My website is www.kappedtherapy.com. We are exclusively virtual, focusing on learners who struggle with executive functioning skills challenges, 5th grade through adulthood. And Steph's practice is www.myedtherapist.com. They see learners in person in Manhattan Beach and Redondo Beach, California, and virtually everywhere. And they do all the things. Let's dig in.
You want to learn faster, but sometimes working harder is just not the answer. You have to learn smarter. The Educational Therapy Podcast.
Hi, Smarties. Welcome to episode 359 of Learn Smarter, the Educational Therapy Podcast. I'm Stephanie Pitts.
And I'm Rachel Kapp.
And today we're talking about the summer slide.
Summer is coming upon us again. I can't believe it. We've done a bunch of episodes on how to support your learner over the summer, and we will link those episodes in the show notes to this episode. But Steph, what do you want to say about Summer Slide? What is it? Let's talk about it.
You know, I think the reason that this episode came about is because we've talked about why you should do educational therapy over the summer.
And we've also talked about like executive functioning projects that you can do over the summer to support learners' development and maintain skills. Yes.
And over the summer, there's a long period of time. There's a big gap of using the skills that they have learned in a continual setting situation, right? Like you go from practicing these skills all day, every day, to all of a sudden you're doing new summer skills, which are just as important. But there's also such a thing as a summer slide.
Before we talk more about the summer slide, I want to talk about the positive skills that get developed over summer, including social emotional growth, opportunity for boredom, which we cannot stress enough how important it is to allow the kids in our life learn what to do when they're bored. We really don't have a tolerance, I can see that now as a parent, for our kids being bored, and we look for ways of filling their time, which is great, but also unstructured, unplanned, go find something to do time is also really, really, really critical in developing problem-solving skills, in honing in on hobbies and passions and other opportunities for learning and growth that you wouldn't have without that boredom piece.
I think the boredom piece is huge in learning what you like to do outside of the school environment. But this is an opportunity to also connect with others who like to do the things that you like to do outside of school and be outside and play and practice that little independence of ride your bike down the street and come back.
Yeah.
My parents sent me to a very traditional be outdoors, go swimming summer camp. And I know you did similar stuff. I was a camp counselor there for 9 summers because I loved it so much.
Was it sleepaway camp?
No, it's day camp. And it was an opportunity to meet kids from other schools. It was forging those relationships and then seeing them the next summer and sort of having a different just spin on you get up and you go to day camp and you do fun things, but you also do things that you didn't realize might be fun and you might not want to do, but then you realize they're fun. Or you learn how to tolerate. Sometimes, you know, especially in a group setting where some kids like to do things and other kids don't, and you have to just do what you don't want to do still, even if it's not academic. So there's a lot of like learning how to navigate that social emotional, which I think summer is the best time to learn those things. And then you can also practice a lot of executive functioning skills because there's so much time. compared to during the school year where there's school all day and then homework at night.
And activities.
And all the things. So this is why summer is so important on so many levels of here's the great opportunities for summer. I mean, summer's my favorite time of the year. Has been since I was a kid because I always loved doing all the summer things.
But you probably liked back to school too.
At some points, yes. And not all points.
I like back.
But the thing that I'm thinking about, I've brought this up on the podcast before, that summer between first and second grade.
Forgot how to read.
Or never really learned, but forgot what I memorized.
Forgot how to pretend how to read.
Forgot how to pretend. Yep. That was a jolt.
Yeah. So my summer experiences was I went to sleepaway camp, which I also did. I went all the way up, became a counselor, and was there for the majority of the summers. Particularly as I got older, I stayed longer and longer. And then there would be like this weird 2-3 weeks, maybe a month before school started. And my mother did not enjoy me having free time because, frankly, I was not good at filling my own free time. So then she would send me to a day camp, which I learned how to tolerate.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So this episode is mainly about the summer slide, really summer opportunities for learning. And in planning this episode, we looked at the research. You know, some research says it's not as much of a problem as other. It depends on the study that you look at. But one of the studies that we looked at said that some learners can lose up to 20% of their academic gains over the summer, which is wild.
It's very wild. That is a lot.
That's like 2.5 months of school gone.
Yep.
So let's talk about why it happens.
So there's a lack of academic opportunity
to practice,
right? You've learned it and then you don't have time to practice. And it's very easy to forget something that you don't practice.
Yep. And then there are obviously socioeconomic factors in terms of who has opportunities to do things, who has a parent at home who's able to facilitate opportunities and learning and social and emotional opportunities for their child. There's a lack of routine over the summer. And, you know, looking back, I wonder if going to that day camp was really about having a routine for me and for my parents too. And I'm sure it was. If I asked that, I'd understand it too.
Yeah.
And then what else? Why else does it happen, Steph?
So the executive functioning backslides, right? You go from having to wake up and having a routine to be at school, and you need to get up early and you need to make sure that you have all your stuff and all of that. And then it goes to a little bit more laxed, which is definitely necessary for a lot of kids. A lot of kids need to recharge and regroup and have that, not as much pressure, but then it's very hard to get back into it. And you see, when we see the kids that start with us after the school year has already started, when they start educational therapy, like in September, October.
Yeah.
That the summer slide had definitely hit them and they ran out of steam so quickly because they weren't prepared for a marathon. They were trying to sprint it.
Yeah, that loss of motivation and confidence in their skill set can really have an impact on learners when they return to school and see how rusty they actually are.
And that doesn't feel good.
And then for our population of learners too, and particularly at Kapp Ed Therapy with the EF learners that we work with exclusively, and with the EF learners that you work with at your practice, Steph, there is a bravado that can come alongside executive functioning skills challenges. And oftentimes it's unknowingly like supported by parents too. So like what we're talking about is a lot of our kids think they have it. And so a lot will say, I don't want to start with intervention. I don't want to do ed therapy. I'm motivated. This is the year. It's gonna be different.
Yeah.
And look, depending on how long they've been in intervention with us, maybe, but more often than not, especially if it's not our recommendation, they come back sort of in the same pickle that they were in about 4 to 6 weeks after the school year has started. Motivation has waned. Remember, they're also trying to reestablish social connections. Like they're trying to navigate new teachers, and each teacher has a different expectation of that. I'm talking primarily about middle school and high school and college students now.
Yeah, or a new school.
Or a new school if they've matriculated into a new school. So we want to be extra cautious when we hear our learners say that and get curious and explore that a little bit with them. Oftentimes what we'll tell families is, I love that for them, but I want them in intervention at least once a week.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about scaling back at that point.
For sure.
As you would say, Steph.
We've been to that movie.
We've been to that movie.
We know how that movie ends.
Yeah.
So, okay, talking about why it's important to meet over the summer, just to recap on these things, it's focusing on maintaining those skills. So think about what would happen if you stopped going to the gym for 2 months and then you had to build the muscle back up. That doesn't sound fun.
Painful.
I wouldn't do that. Okay, but anyway.
Steph's not one with the exercising.
No, but I have to tell you something funny.
Yeah.
I had pictures taken over the weekend with my friends for an event we do. And my friend, who's in education, just randomly, but she says to me, do you weightlift?
You get that.
She's known me since 2014, 2015, somewhere around there.
That's just the way your body is.
I started immediately laughing. And she goes, I didn't think you did, but just looking at your arms. And I was like, yeah. Anyway.
You have beautiful arms.
They don't fit in shirts. It's a problem. It's awful.
I know.
Anyway, so the other thing, importance for meeting over the summer, building executive functioning skills that look different than the ones that are using at school. Like the ones that you use at school are different than the skills that you use at home during the summer, but opportunities to build those skills in different ways. Like we'll talk about projects that are fun, executive functioning skills. And then talking about what Rachel said with the boredom, building curiosity and independence. What do you do when you don't know what to do? But this is a different type. It's not the what do you do when you don't know what to do to answer the teacher's question. It's the what do you do when you don't know what to do in general? With
yourself, with your time.
Yeah.
And the clock is slow.
Yeah.
We want to give everybody those opportunities. And I know there's parents listening to this just screaming about screen time. We're not talking about that.
No.
So that's not what we're talking about with boredom. So
yeah, give us some tips.
Our number one tip, and I was just discussing this with a parent yesterday.
This is my favorite.
She was telling me about some battles that she was having with her second grader over reading. And I said, are you letting her read what she wants? And I don't care if it's below grade level. And I don't care if it's a graphic novel. I don't care if it's an audiobook. All the things. Let them read and consume what they want.
Reading wise.
Sorry.
Yes.
I'm not saying they should endlessly be on YouTube.
Yeah. That's a whole different story. But
yeah,
this might spark wanting to read other things and more things. So I've heard parents many times, they've memorized the book. They're not learning anything.
Great. They're still enjoying the book. They're turning a page. They're interacting with story structure. They're interacting with character development. And then go ask ChatGPT, my kid likes this book. What are some other books they might be interested in?
Exactly. And Rach, I know you particularly, you like to rewatch series.
I love a rewatch. Although, did I tell you what I'm watching right now? I don't think I've told you.
No, you have not.
About a week ago, I started Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
You've never seen it?
I've never watched it.
Oh.
I have thoughts.
Okay, I'm sure you do. But I watched it when it came out, so I don't know when that was, but that was a long time ago because it was definitely in my old career.
The things that they're talking about and the things that they're wearing.
15 years ago, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, it make me laugh for sure.
But anyway, going back to you rewatching a season.
Yeah.
Because you are very famous for it.
Yeah.
You're getting something different out of it each time.
Yeah.
What you're paying attention to, what you're noticing, your connection.
What is hitting you differently. It's very interesting. So like for a show, let's talk about some of my rewatch shows, right?
I was going to say Top Chef.
Oh, I could watch Top Chef all day, every day.
I know you could. And let's remind the people how long it took me to get you to watch that show. Years, okay?
I had to be ready because, like I said, starting something new is actually not easy for me. So, like, when people are like, oh, go watch this movie, I'm like, I really have to work myself up to, like, I'm going to watch this movie and be introduced to this whole new world for, like, an hour and a half.
I want you to watch Paradise.
What's that?
On Hulu. I've told you about this multiple times.
My brain is broken since having 2 children.
It just hasn't hit yet, but it's okay. We'll come back to it.
We'll come back to it. Right now I'm on Housewives, okay?
But Top Chef you rewatched a million times.
Love it so much. But I don't want to talk about Top Chef. I mean, I do want to talk about, it's all I want to talk about is Top Chef, but like, I'm going to talk about a different show. So a regular rewatch show that I think is pretty universal for women in our age range is Gilmore Girls, right?
Oh, not me.
You've never seen Gilmore Girls?
No, I watched it a little bit, but you're younger than me. It wasn't at the same, my age group is not.
If you all could see my face.
I'm older than you.
Okay, what about Friends?
Friends for sure.
Okay.
But my age group was like Dawson's Creek, 90210.
I was not allowed to watch those shows.
See, I'm older than you.
I'm horrified that Gilmore Girls isn't a rewatch show for you. But like for a show like Gilmore Girls, it hits different after having kids than it did before. Right? So that was a really, really long roundabout way of saying, yes, I get something from a rewatch.
Yeah, and it's different every time.
Mm-hmm.
So
back to what else you could do.
Back to audiobooks on road trips as a family. And this is a great time to listen to some classics. Do the Harry Potter. Re-listen to Harry Potter. I used to listen to it on my drive back to school, like when I was teaching and I had to commute. I re-listened to all of them. My fave. But then the thing that we also found from the research is that there's more summer slide reported in math. So fun ways to incorporate math is a really good idea. One of the easiest ways, cooking.
Love a cooking moment.
Baking, doubling recipes, figuring out how much things cost, going to the store as a family, or you with your child going, what's our budget? Any of those kinds of things, even for a little kid. We need to find one that's under $7. Find that one. Or what are our options that are under $7? These are all very easy ways to practice math. Okay, what's the next one, Rach?
Building novelty.
Fun.
Building novelty around things. So reading outside. For my boys, they love it when I read them a book while they're in the bathtub. Mm-hmm. Writing on windows with dry erase markers.
So
you have to be a certain kind of parent to be cool. But if you can be cool with this type of stuff, that is the stuff of childhood that your kids will remember.
If you're not, use the sidewalk chalk.
Sidewalk chalk. They love it.
I loved sidewalk chalk.
Love it. We have like a little porch outside and there are steps going down. And if you look at the steps, like you're walking up them, the whole like perpendicular part of the stair is covered in sidewalk chalk.
Oh, that's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
What else would you add, Steph?
My favorite. Incorporate games. You can do all the games, all the puzzles. You can do the family games. You can do the games like Rush Hour that are just, you know, single player games. But then as a family, you could do Monopoly or Scrabble or play chess or whatever it is, but play those games. And if it's starting a new game when you have a rigid kid or changing the rules this week or this time, whatever it looks like.
And I would also say maybe we should do an episode, Steph, on games learners can play independently because that's really sometimes what parents need and require.
Oh, yeah, I got that. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to follow up this episode with an episode on summer games for independent play. Mm-hmm. So look out for that episode coming to a podcast near you soon. And then you can plan backwards, right? You can say to yourself and with your child and co-create the experience with your kid of what do you want to learn and what do you want your learner to be capable of when the fall begins. And then you plan backwards. It gives you an opportunity to reflect on what happened, to make a plan for what we're doing forward. It's goal setting. It's modeling some healthy behaviors and habits that can lead to really productive, fruitful, meaningful interaction with their learning.
And that's the most important part. Just the interaction with their learning and knowing what feels good, what doesn't feel good, what's hard, what's easy, what do they want. to do and reminding them that you're still learning as the parent too.
Yeah.
Like everybody's still learning. It just looks different sometimes in different phases of our life. So that's summer or school time.
Yeah.
So anyway, hope this was helpful in talking about some ways to combat the summer slide.
And there we go.
Have a great week, Smarties.
Have a great week.